Today it was announced that President Trump had fired Secretary of State Tillerson and had replaced him with CIA Director Mike Pompeo. In a news conference later on in the morning, Tillerson announced that he'll retain his position until the end of this month, March 31st. And it was kind of funny because for several months that rumor had just kind of floated around and no one really took it seriously to the extent of saying, "Oh, this is definitely something that'll happen in the future." Um, so to finally have it happen, especially with no seeming just indicators, was surprising. And I guess we should be used to this cycle of people coming in and going and coming in and going, um, but it still catches you off guard because you're so unlikely to just look into the individual careers of each cabinet member. You don't know what they're doing at all points. Now, in the case of Tillerson's job performance, one of the weakest secretaries of state we've ever had. Um, I mean, his lack of visibility really is only compensated for by the rise of the UN ambassador Haley, who was able to become the Trump administration's chief person just in speaking on foreign affairs when a Secretary of State should have had that position. And it got so bad that there were many people who thought she was pining for that job. But understand, no matter if you're a fan of hers or you're, kind of tired of her as I am, you have to acknowledge that her rise was made possible by Tillerson choosing to just kind of be this background figure who shakes a couple of hands, shows up at a couple of meetings, gives a few brief remarks here and there, and that's about it. Now, what would have been more interesting is if we were able to see the extent of the relationship between Tillerson and Putin play out. Just in what way was that really? Because one of the concerns when he first had the position was, their background with each other would make the U.S. susceptible to having some kind of deal with Russia that would be against our interests, or some kind of treasonous thing that people tried to spin. Which there is merit to questioning a relationship with the high-profile political figure of a country we've had problems with, but I don't think that ever came to pass. This idea that there was some major deal that was going to be made with Putin as a result of Tillerson being Secretary of State. Uh, so it is very surprising. I am not excited or expecting much from Pompeo. I think he's probably going to have the exact same problems of lacking visibility and getting on a plane, flying here and there, shaking some hands, giving a little 2-minute speech, and we'll just continue with that same status quo until we get through this. Both of Trump's terms, one Secretary of State every year. Um, it's really strange because those reports of Tillerson being fired have been out for months, and just you question if this were really going to just happen, why didn't we get some kind of indication a while back? You just go to work and then you go in there and they say you're fired, which is what he did to Comey last year. So it's that same pattern of no formal notification.